I think for me, it's the attitude and the ability to work hard every day and try and better yourself. Of course, we have quality. You can see that. But I think it's the attitude and that strong mentality that takes us to the next level.
So I'm pretty familiar with injuries and time spent on the rehab table. How does it feel for you to get back after this long road? How do you feel? Where are you at mentally and physically?
Yeah, it feels really good to be back involved with the team. To be apart from the team for such a long time. Almost 7 months I was out. So to be back involved is such a nice feeling. Also in the match day squads, preparing for games. It's everything that you miss when you're injured. And now I feel really good. I'm still on a different programme from the rest of the team. Some days I need to rest because it was such a major injury. And I'm not quite at my maximum yet, but I'm working really hard every day to try and find that, and hopefully soon I can be back 100%. But as I said earlier, just such a nice feeling to be back involved with the team.
Yeah, when you talk about being back in with the team, it's always something that when you're out with injury, you're looking for. Just being around the guys on the pitch. You said you don't feel quite 100% back to your normal self. But what aspects of your game do you feel, though, are very reminiscent of how you felt before you got injured?
Yeah, I still feel the same feelings, when I have the ball. And during the games, I still feel pretty normal. It's just, my muscles and, my legs have not been quite used to this sort of work for the past while. And subconsciously in your head, I'm training almost every day and I'm playing in the games, but subconsciously I'm still trying to protect my knee. And I don't mean it. I don't want to do that, but that's just how your brain works. And by doing this, then the other muscles around the knee then, start to seize up, and they're really tight every day. So I'm getting treatment with the physios every day, and still just trying to find that, that 100%. But as I said, when I'm on the training pitch or when I'm playing in the game, I feel back to my normal self in my head. I can still do all the same things as I did before.
Lewis, all it takes is that first tackle, and you're like, okay, I'm good. I got the confidence back. I spent 18 months out of the matchday squad. I broke my femur. I tore my PCL. So I was dealing with a number of things. I was involved in a car accident. But I remember throughout that process of going ups and downs, right? And there were some setbacks. You're trying to find your confidence, trying to figure out, how do I fit into this team, and how can I evolve and continue to get better from where I once was. What were some of those low moments for you throughout that process, and how did you overcome them?
Yeah, there was loads of difficult moments. I think the most difficult for me was, as soon as I found out it was the ACL and the meniscus, and I needed the surgery. My first thought was the Euros with the national team, because throughout last season that was always in the back of my head. I was playing really good, and I thought, this is going to be my chance to represent my country at, my first ever major tournament. So finding out the news that it was my ACL and I needed the surgery, and I was going to be, at least 6 months out. The first few weeks I thought was really difficult, mentally and physically. Physically, as you know, you can't do much. You're on the couch for most of the day, and it's really difficult because as a footballer, you're in a routine, you have habits, you're always on the move, you're always doing something. And I was really big on that, and then it all changes. And then your habits are then on the couch and can't move as you would like to do, and simple things like getting up off the couch and walking to bed was really difficult. My house isn't that big, but it took me 5 minutes to get to my bedroom because I was moving so slow. But yeah, there was many ups and downs, and even now when I'm back training now, there's ups and downs every day. Some days I feel amazing, and then some days I'll feel a little bit of pain here and there, and mentally it's really tough. As I says, one day you feel good, and the next you feel something, and you don't know what it is. So mentally it's a challenge.
So take me into the mind of Lewis Morgan. When you can't, Lewis Ferguson, when you can't play, you can't move. So are you binge watching Netflix? Are you playing FIFA, EAFC? Like what are you doing to kill the time?
Not much. I had the game ready machine, the Normatec, Compex, and I started my rehab pretty early. It was only 4 or 5 days after the surgery where I started the rehab, so you can't do much, but I was going in and getting a massage, trying to move the leg for the first time, which was really difficult. And yeah, I didn't, to be honest, I didn't watch much television, or I've got a young daughter who's 2 years old, and most of the time if I was watching TV, I was watching a kids film or a kids program. But that was also a difficult moment because she doesn't understand that I couldn't move, and she was wanting to play and everything, and for me that was really sad.
You've been doing a lot of talking about moving or immobility, but I want to talk about the motion. I want to talk about the fact that we've recently started to see Serie A as a destination for a lot more Scottish players who are not only just coming into league but thriving as well, like yourself. Does the Scottish community see the Serie A as a hotter destination in recent years for Scottish players?
Yeah, I think so now, for sure. I think if you go back 10 years ago, the natural route for a Scottish player in the Scottish League was to go to England. That was just the natural route. That's what the players did. And yeah, over the past few years, it's really changed. Start to see a lot more Scottish people playing in Serie A, and not just playing, I think doing really well. Liam Henderson was one of the first to come out, and then obviously followed by Aaron Hickey, and these guys I spoke to them obviously before I came out here and asked them about the lifestyle, how different it is to back home, how the football is, and they had nothing but good things to say about the place and about the league. So I think it's really nice, and it's really refreshing that a lot more Scottish players are not only just coming here and playing, they're really holding their own, and they're doing really well.
You talk about holding their own, you guys all holding your own, and you've recently spoken publicly about the Scottish mentality. Here in America, when we say the American mentality, we know exactly what that means. But for people out there who don't necessarily know what the Scottish mentality...
They think of Braveheart, they think of Mel Gibson going,
But Mel Gibson is an American dude.
I know, so we want to know, what is that?
We want to know what exactly is the Scottish mentality, and why does it set you guys up for success in Serie A and just European and global football at large?
I think for me it's the attitude and the ability to work hard every day and try and better yourself. Of course we have quality, you can see that, but I think it's the attitude and that strong mentality that takes us to the next level. We're willing to fight for every ball, we're willing to run ourselves into the ground, and it's all for the team. It's never just a personal thing. We're team players, and we would give everything. When we step on that pitch, we would give everything to win a game of football. So I think it's quite as simple as that. It's the attitude and the desire to work hard and become better.
Lewis, I want to talk about Bologna at the moment. It felt like the start of the season was a little bit slow. You're coming back to health. It feels like you're going to give them a much-needed boost. It feels like the team is maybe getting over the hump. I know you've missed Xerxes, Calafiore, and Thiago Motta. They have all since left the club. Who do you think you felt, I think, that missing the most? Who do you feel that it's been a little bit harder to go without one of those players?
It's difficult to say one because, all three guys you mentioned were really important. We also lost some other players and also the staff of Thiago Motta. So there was a lot of change. I think for me personally, when I play, I would have to say I would miss Josh the most because it's natural that me and Josh played pretty close together. I was not normally the player and behind Josh, and we linked up really well. So, if you're pushing me to say a name, I would have to say him. But there was a lot of change in the summer. A lot of players left, the staff left, new players come in, and I think when you have this change, it takes a little bit of time. But now I see a lot of good things on the table, and we're starting to get positive results. So everything is good at the minute.